Hi, I'm Celia, and welcome to Ranking Fanfiction Tropes Criminal Minds Edition. Now, I've seen several other YouTubers do this video, but I haven't seen anyone who's actively involved in fandom do this yet, so I thought I would take a stab. I call this Criminal Minds Edition solely because I'm going to be filtering these tropes through my favorite ships, characters, and fanfictions I read within the Criminal Minds fandom. Okay, starting off. First trope, ABO. Awful. Sorry. I know there's a lot of slash fic out there. That's ABO. I don't personally read it. I don't read a lot of slash. Not my cup of tea. Amnesia fic. I haven't seen a lot of this in the Criminal Minds fandom. I think it can be okay in some contexts, but it's not my favorite, so I'm gonna put it in bad for now. I might reassess that. Angst. I I love myself some good angst, but I feel like the show tortures its characters enough, so I'm gonna put it in great and not God, because sometimes I just want them to be happy and not sad. Um, Arranged marriage. Uh, I think that's a God tier trope. I don't know that I've seen any of it in the Criminal Minds fandom, but I love this trope. It's one of my favorites. I don't know what else to say. Baby fic. I'm gonna interpret this as kid fic because I don't think kid fic's on here. I think kid fic is great. I love Jack. I love Henry. I'm currently in the middle of writing kid fic myself. Gonna have God tier. Sharing a bed. Also God tier. I don't need to make any further comments on this, I don't think. Bang or die. I'm a minor. Can't legally talk about this. I think it's pretty bad anyway. Body swap. I read a really, really good Hotch read body swap crack fic. And so for that, I'm gonna put it in great. Usually I think it's fine, but that's a really good fic. Coffee shop AU. I don't think I've seen very many Criminal Minds coffee shop AUs. I have to say fine, I guess. I don't know, there's a lot of it. It's a little bit of the same over and over again. Whatever. College AU. I'm gonna put that with coffee shop AU. That might be more of a controversial opinion. I feel like more people like college AUs, but I think it's strange, especially in Criminal Minds, because, for instance, Rossi's supposed to be 25 years older than JJ, so I just don't see that working in a college setting. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Crack fic. Because of the aforementioned body swap fic, this is gonna go in great. Sometimes you just need to have some ridiculous fun. Crossover. I think the majority of Criminal Minds crossovers I've read are with NCIS, which is a show that I also enjoy, but I think they tend to be sort of hit or miss for me. Um, I'm not super interested in them, so it will go on fine. Dark fic. Bad, honestly. I don't really have any interest in dark fic. I like the fact that the Criminal Minds agents are good, that they're like people who strive to do good things, even if they fail sometimes. Dark fic doesn't really interest me. Major character death. Awful. I read it sometimes. It makes me sad. It's supposed to make me sad. I don't like feeling sad. Canon divergence. God. Because there are some things the CM writing staff does that we shall not talk about. And there's some things they didn't do that we shall talk about, like not giving Emily Prentice a girlfriend. Hashtag give Emily Prentice a girlfriend, even though Criminal Minds is over, just retcon it in. I don't care. Enemies to lovers. Hotchness. Enough said. Established relationship. I think this is like probably great, usually, but I think in terms of Criminal Minds, it's more of a fine trope because JJ and Will are fine. Um, Haley and Hotch are fine. I don't know. I don't think any of the established relationships in Criminal Minds really do much for me. Fairy Tale AU. I think I actually have read some Criminal Minds Fairy Tale AUs. They were fine. Rossi the Fairy Godmother is a great trope, will continue to be, but it's not something that really piques. Not really something that piques my interest generally. Fake relationship. God tier. Always God tier. Doesn't matter what fandom it's in. Fake relationship is one of my favorite tropes ever. The aforementioned kid fic is also a fake relationship fic. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Fix It. Um, Fix It's are great. It's like canon divergence, but smaller, to fix those moments that really hurt your heart. I don't think I've actually read that much Criminal Minds Fix It fic, but generally I think it's pretty good. Fluff. God tier. Because I said angst was great, but I want to be happy. Fluff is God tier. I just want Emily Prentice to get the happy ending she deserves, okay? Friends to lovers. Generally. Enough said. Genfic. This, I think, is maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think Genfic is a god tier trope, although I'm not really sure it's a trope, especially in the Criminal Minds fandom. I love myself a good case fic, and I also just love fics that center on the relationship between the agents, their friendships, because I think that's really what draws me back to the show more than the formulaic, sometimes not very good plots. Let's see. Hurt Comfort. Hurt Comfort it's great. It's not god tier. I would rather, again, not read about my characters being hurt. But, they make it all right in the end. That's what I really care about. Historical AU. Fine. I don't think I've read that many Criminal Minds historical AUs. When I was a kid, I had a big thing for steampunk, so I'd definitely be interested in reading a steampunk Criminal Minds AU if anyone has any recommendations. But overall, again, not something that super interests me. High school AU. See, I would put this in fine, and maybe I'm a hypocrite for not putting it in fine because of the same reasons I mentioned in the college AU, but there is a boarding school AU. If you know it, you know it, and it is amazing and fantastic, and I love it. And for that reason, high school AU has to go in great. Huddle for Warmth isn't a trope I've seen much in Criminal Minds, I think. I think it's fine. It's not my favorite. I would say it's definitely worse than sharing a bed, but I think it's better than Amnesia. So, fine. Humor. I think humor is less fun than crack. I think if it's funny, it should be really funny. But I appreciate laughs as much as the next person, so it's fine. The next one is In Vino Veritas, which is Drunken Confession. I think this isn't bad. If they had a trope square that was confession in the heat of an argument, that would be God. That's a God tier trope, and you can fight me on that. But I think drunken confessions are just sort of bad. First kiss. I mean, they're all adults. I don't really buy into the Spencer Reid is a 30-year-old virgin trope, so I don't think any of them are realistically having their first kiss. But first kiss between a couple you really ship, that's cute. It's fine. Magic AU. Okay, I'm putting all the AUs in fine. I'm sorry, I'm really boring. It sounds fun. I don't know. I guess the fairy tale AUs I've read have magic in them. I would read a magic AU. Not a Harry Potter retelling because Harry Potter is over. Thank you very much. But I would be interested in, some other sort of magic system. All right, miscommunication. I hate it in published books. I hate it in fan fictions. I'm definitely guilty of trying to write it in myself because I understand that it's a very easy way to create conflict, but it's tired and I don't like it. Missing scenes. I think missing scenes are are they great or are they fine? They're not God because they're not quite as good as Canon Divergence. Definitely not. But are they as good as Fix It or are they a little bit worse? I'd put them in fine because I honestly haven't read that many missing scenes from Criminal Minds. I've read missing scenes from some other fandoms, and those are some of my favorite fics, honestly. Just the fics that perfectly capture the feel of a show. But I don't know that I've read that many of Criminal Minds because now that the show is no longer airing, and because I got into it when the final seasons were just airing, there wasn't a lot of real-time missing scenes fic coming out, and that's where I think the real joy of missing scenes is watching an episode and then going to AO3 and seeing someone else's interpretation of like a gap in the episode or something post episode. Mutual pining. God tier. God tier. God tier. Mutual pining is the best. Mutual pining and all of their friends see it, but they don't see it is the absolute best. That would have to be a tier above God, but just mutual pining is God itself. Sex pollen. Again, no comment, but I think it's bad. Pregnancy fic. I'm gonna put this in bad. I just don't think I've seen a great example of it executed in the Criminal Minds fandom. I think it's an interesting idea, and I've seen it in other fandoms where it was like okayly done, but I've never had a pregnancy fic that I really love. PWP. Once more, no comment. Royalty AU. This is gonna go in bad because I just think it's kind of boring. I don't really like the monarchy as a concept. I think we can move beyond that hopefully in fiction and then maybe one day in the real life. And I say this as a British citizen, but I just think it's sort of unnecessary. I would much rather read about the AUs that are in my fine list or my great list than a royalty AU. Slow burn. God tier. God tier. Criminal Minds is a great slow burn. You know, it's like they meet in season 1 or season 3, and then they do a mutual pining for a long time. They don't realize they're in love until season 8, season 7. It's a great slow burn. And honestly, I don't see the Criminal Minds agents as people who rush quickly into things, so I think slow burn makes sense canonically. You can disagree with me about that. It's fine. Soulmate AU. I'm gonna put it in great. I would put it in God tier. I do really like it, but I have seen it so many times. Although not as much in the Criminal Minds fandom as one might expect, given the preponderance of soulmate AUs in basically every other fandom I've ever been in. I think they're great. I think there are definitely new and innovative ways to do them, but there are a lot of not innovative ways to do them, and I've seen every single one of those multiple times. Time loop. I don't think I've ever read a time loop Criminal Minds fanfiction. I'm trying to picture it in my head. I think that would be interesting. I'm gonna put it in fine. I'm wishing I created a 6th category called interesting, where I could put things that I haven't seen enough of that I think would be interesting. But I didn't. So time will go there. Love triangle. Ooh, love triangle's gonna go in bad unless it ends in polyamory, and then it's gonna go in God. But the little icon doesn't specify, so it's gonna go in bad. Yeah, resolve all your love triangles by having everyone get together and be happy. Unhappy ending. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. I read it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I read it. I'm sure many of us do. But they make me sad. And they bum me out. And as a trope, I just would like to see less of that. I think we can have unhappy chapter endings, but overall, I would much prefer a happy ending. Unrequited love. Unrequited love is also awful. Personally, I think unrequited love is worse than unhappy ending because it's a specific kind of heartbreak. It's a specific kind of sadness that just sort of twists in your gut and echoes my real life more than I'd like to admit. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found this mildly interesting. If you want, you can leave a comment in the comment section telling me which tropes you agree with my ranking of and which tropes you don't. You can also subscribe to me here, although I wouldn't recommend it because the chances that I make another YouTube video in the next year are slim to none. You can also follow me on Tumblr, where I'm much more active, at Maria_Hill or at L Greenaway without the second A. Those will both be linked in the description. I hope you all have a lovely day.